Well, good afternoon. Welcome to today's special webinar. This is texting beta testing. It's a training course, and by training course, that might be a little bit too much of a description. It's a training session. We've just got about 30 minutes together to introduce the new text messaging feature in Church360, both members and Unite. My name is Peter Frank. I am the Senior Manager of Marketing Technology. I'm sure you've seen me in emails or other webinars, but if not, just know that I'm actively involved in the development and training of Church360 and Lutheran Service Builder and then Church Communications. I've got a lot going on right now. You can reach out to me at my email address there, peter.frank@cph.org. I'll be sharing that later on. Just a few quick housekeeping items. I'm planning about 25 minutes for presentation, 5 minutes for questions. I'm happy to go over that if needed on both of those things. We are recording this. We'll be sharing this recording. There's a few interaction points that you won't be able to participate in if you're watching the recording, but almost all of it will still be applicable. You'll still be able to test it just as if you were here live. All attendees are muted. We have a smaller group today because it's just a defined test set, but I am muting everybody right now just because even with a couple dozen people here, it's going to be too much to have everybody off or on the lines themselves. But please ask questions throughout. We'll keep this pretty informal. Again, this is the first and only time we're doing this. So if you've got questions, put it in the chat. I'm going to be asking you guys something in a few minutes that I'll ask you to put in the chat if you're willing to participate. So what is beta testing? Let's clear that up right away because there's different definitions out there, different understandings of it. For us, beta testing is the final step before we release the feature. And we don't always do beta testing on everything because we have our own in-house testers. They call that alpha testing, where we test it, and if it's a medium size or smaller feature, we don't always release it to beta testing. But when we have a big feature and a feature that we really want to get right, that's when we send it out to beta testing. So we haven't done this in quite a while. We haven't had any major features released recently. I would put texting in this, and I'll explain why it got so big in just a few minutes. But one thing to let you know about beta testing, the feature set of this release is fixed, meaning we're not going to add things. If we subtract something, it's going to be based on some really strong reasoning why we'd subtract it, but it's pretty much fixed. That doesn't mean we're never going to change things with it. So we'd love to hear your feedback for future releases, and you can send that to support@cts.cph.org. I should have put my email up there. You can send it to me too. I'll have that shared later on. But just know that if you're asking for a new feature during beta testing, or it'd be really cool if it did this, even if we agree with you, we're not going to do that scope creep that'll go beyond that. What we're really hoping you'll do is find out if there's anything wrong on this. We think it's bug-free. Software is never bug-free. You guys will probably find something that we would never have thought to test. All right, so my assumptions for today is that you are a current user of Church360 members or Church360 Unite. If you are not, and I didn't invite anybody who's not, so hopefully you're not. If you're not a current user, you're not going to be able to participate. It has to be for current users. And also, I'm assuming you have full access to all the features. If you don't, that doesn't mean your church can't participate. It just means you may not be able to until you get those access or that access. All right, so today we're going to spend the majority of the time really going through the explanation of the texting setup and the requirements. That's the part I'm really curious to get your feedback on because it's more complex than I thought it would be. Then we're going to look at Church360 members. We're going to do a demonstration. Then we'll go into Unite and do the same kind of thing. And then I'll take question and answers at the end. So let's dive into the explanation. Texting is something that we've had requests for in a variety of different ways over the years and for a variety of different purposes. So we are starting off in texting in a very specific way. It will allow you to mass text message your people. Basically send a single text message to a large number of people at one time. This could be expanded in the future. We can get into things like reminders and other things that we want to do. But for right now, this is an administrator, you leading your account, you identify the people that you want to send a text message to, and you send it out there. Another restriction, this is one-way communication only. You will not receive a response. This might be disappointing to some of you who want to do the two-way text messaging. We have kind of cleared the way to introduce that in the future if that's where our customers would like texting to go. It's quite a bit of additional work. This was already a several-month project that got extended beyond what we thought. So we didn't want to continue to add features on it right now. We wanted to ship it, get it out to everybody, see what you think, and then we can build on it from there. So this is really the first step. I'm curious to see what you guys think should be the next step, especially after you start using it. Right now, everything's kind of conceptual. Be curious to see if people are participating and your members are telling you that they want to use it for other ways. There will be a shortcode and only one shortcode. So this is the part that really got into, I don't know, some surprising areas for me. So we're working with the top text messaging company that works with software developers to add texting to software. And the recommendation from everybody is to go with a shortcode. Well, shortcodes are expensive, and we can't add a shortcode for every church without asking for that shortcode to be paid for by the church. We are paying for the shortcode for all of Church360. It's essentially this one number that you've got on the screen there, 69089. So if that's that one number is available for everybody, it sends out, it's essentially the Church360 number, if you will. And people don't need to like save it in their phone unless they want to be able to recognize it. That's the key difference, is that you save it so that you know who it's coming from. You don't save it so that you can send things to it. Now, there's the potential that we can always change things in the future, but a shortcode means that it has been approved by the different telecarriers. We had to go through a detailed explanation process where we described how we're going to be using it, who's going to be using it, all of these different things, and then all of the telecarrier providers reviewed it and approved it. And it was about an 8-week process to get the approval in place, or to get the approval. And we had to have the software set up first. So it's been a long road, and we would have to do that for every shortcode. And so that's just why it makes it so difficult. Now, if we did it we could dynamically generate different area codes from like regular numbers, but the success rate on those, many carriers will block those because of spam, is not great. So that's why a shortcode provides the all the benefits that we're looking for, deliverability assurance, easy recognition. It's just going to be one number for all messages. All right, this will be included free with your existing Church360 subscription. We're not going to charge any extra for it because we've got one shortcode. Everybody essentially shares the costs and what we're already charging you. So it works out well. It's kind of a volume discount, and the discount means it's free for you. So no additional things. You don't have to sign up for anything once we release it. Now, I'm going to walk you through the process of getting started today since it's in beta. You'll be able to use it on your exact account. You'll just have to access it in a different way. So I'll walk you through that process. Another requirement that we had to do is we had to describe what is being sent in the text message. Well, you can imagine us thinking through this process and saying, we're going to open it up to hundreds of churches to send to their members. Well, what's going to be sent? Well, we worked with the texting company, and they said sometimes the best way to handle this is to just create buckets or categories. And that's what we did. So there's 4 types of messages you can send. The first one is announcement. That can be anything. Church services have been canceled this weekend due to weather. That's the example announcement we gave. It could be an invitation. Please join us for worship this Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. or Bible study or any of those. A reminder, you are signed up, see you there. Or a prayer request. We put them in those 4 categories because they are pretty broad categories. When you think about that, almost anything can go under that announcement. What we don't want to do is have you using this for advertising, meaning come buy this, come buy your fish fry or anything like that. That's what the telecarriers are worried about, is that people will abuse this. And that's going to get into our next step in just a moment. But it's all worried about the recipient, making sure that what the recipient signs up for is what they get. So we framed everything in this. Anytime you send a text message, you're going to have to pick one of these types. but we made them broad enough for the different scenarios that our churches requested of us. So it should cover everything. If it doesn't, or if you have questions about a type of text, let me know. But these are intentionally broad, knowing that the real requirement is it should not be used for business purposes. It should not be used for trying to sell somebody on something. And in the church, you're not doing that. So it shouldn't be abused in that way. But that's one of the things that everybody's worried about. So hopefully that explains that aspect of it. Now the next part. This is the part that was most surprising, added the most level of complexity, and is probably going to require you to explain it some to your church. Recipients will need to perform a double opt-in before they can receive any text messages. Well, double opt-ins are confusing, and so we worked with the company to figure out, well, what does that mean? What are the best practices? So this is what we're going to do. Recipients will have to complete a texting form. They have to have some kind of offline, shouldn't say offline, but some sort of non-texting opt-in, and then they have to have a texting opt-in. So I'll walk you through all of this in a few minutes, but essentially what that means is you'll need to generate an email that goes to people. They click on that email and it takes them directly to a form that they need to submit their phone number on. That's the first opt-in. Then we will automatically text them and say, are you sure? If they respond yes, that's the second opt-in. So two different forms of opt-in. It's them saying, yes, we want to text, or we want to receive text. So this is one of those requirements for the short code. This is where it gets complex and can be a little bit confusing. I know everybody would love to just be able to put in phone numbers and text everybody, but think about the potential for abuse there. So you as a cell phone user are probably pretty thankful that this doesn't happen. Now, you may be like me and say, well, what about all the spammy texts that I get? Well, usually you can figure out where you got them. It's people who are not using it to the best of the intentions, but you can probably figure out where you opted in if you're getting it from a short code. You know, I have a sushi restaurant that texts me more than I'd like. Sometimes they're good deals, so I deal with it. AT&T texts me things related to my bill. Well, I know I opted into them, and they're my carrier. My electric company texts me. Well, I know I opted into them. And so it's, as I sit through, I start thinking, okay, well, I know where it's coming from. That's what the telecarriers want. So this double opt-in, again, I'll go through this a little bit more slowly, and then I'll show you how it works. First, you will initiate Church360 to generate a page with an opt-in form. So the link will not be available until you turn it on. And the reason for that is you may not want to do text messaging, or some of our other churches may not want to do text messaging. And so we didn't want to just put this out there. So there's an opt-in for you to turn on text messaging. That's a click of a button, that's it. Then you will initiate Church360 to generate an email to those that you choose. So you could send it out to everybody, but you might not want to do that. And I would recommend against doing that. Send it to the people who will want it. You know, you don't want to spam people with an email. You don't want to spam your non-members and say, hey, remember that church you visited 3 months ago? Do you want to get texts from us? You know, use it smartly. Respect the person's privacy. Cell phones are so intimate in that you always have it right next to you. I mean, there's nothing else like that. Maybe your wallet, but even your wallet isn't in your hands, it's in your pocket. So you want to respect that. This is a very easy way to get into somebody's personal life. If they give you that permission, don't abuse it. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, if you will. You and the church are concerned about your people. You don't want them to be abused with spammy messages. So I'll digress. So you'll initiate an email to those that you choose. The recipient in that email will click on the link. And so they don't have to go type anything in, they just get a link. Well, sorry, they'll get an email with a link. They'll get more details and I'll show you where you can add to it. So the recipient then submits the form with their phone number. So this form will be very short, but I'll show you and actually give you the opportunity to do that so you can see how short it is. Then they'll receive an opt-in text. They'll get a text immediately from that number, and they'll have to respond to that. They confirm that they opt in, and they're now available to receive text messaging in the software. Now, you can unmatch or match unknown phone numbers with the correct people. We'll show you that process, because you may not know exactly who goes with what phone number if you don't have the phone number in your system. But if the phone number's in Church360 already, it'll automatically assign it to them. So recipients must be allowed to opt out at any time. And so there's these 5 different words they can use to opt out: stop, cancel, end, unsubscribe, or quit. And you won't be able to send text to them once they do that. And we won't be able to say, yeah, give them text and opt them back in. They have to be the ones to opt back in. Again, it's all about preventing abuse of the recipients. Recipients can receive help from CTS support by texting help or info. All it's going to do is give them the details on how to reach out in a different way. We can't two-way communicate with them either. It's automated messages. So if they need help, just know that's where they're going, is CTS support. Messages are limited to 160 characters and are only text, no media at this point. Those things can always be changed, but we want to see how people use it. If we start increasing those things, then our costs increase, and we may have to pass it on to the churches, make it kind of an upgrade. We don't want to do that yet until we find out there's a need. Accounts will be limited to 5,000 messages per month. This is a broad estimate. I don't know how many people are going to need. So just know, oh, I should clarify, 1 text to 10 phone numbers equals 10 messages. So it's every individual message that's sent. It's not 1 text as 1 message. It's however many messages are received. So this may change. We may increase it, we may decrease it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what is really practical. We do get charged by the message. It is not a lot. So we thought 5,000 is probably good by the time you have people opt in and you're respecting how they're using it. We don't think you should ever go over that amount. But if everybody starts going over that amount, well, then we may have to look at it. If nobody even gets close, well, then we might be able to extend it. So it's kind of in the air right now. We'll try to lock that down before we officially release it. So I'd love your feedback on that too. All right, let's move into the Church360 members demonstration. Now, before I do that, and I should have rearranged this, if you'd like to participate in this live demonstration, please note your name, email, or phone number may appear on screen as part of the demonstration. Please go ahead and put a note in the chat and just say, yes, please invite me. Now, what I've done is I've brought your names, everybody who's registered, the first name and the last initial. So no true identification there. I've put that into Church360. And so if you say yes, I'm hoping I'll be able to find you based on your full name, then I'll be able to send you an invitation and you'll get this in your email, the email that you use to sign up for this course. And then you can enter in your phone number to start getting the text from us. I'm never going to use this text again, but you'll have been opted in to receive text messaging from us at that point. So that's what we're doing. All right. Thank you very much, Sue and Joanne and Marianne. So if you are interested, please go ahead and keep typing in yes, please do. All right, next, here's how you get in, and you can follow along with me. You can go to subdomain.beta.360members.com. Now, this is how we do beta testing. It's not always available. There's not always something on beta, but when we do testing, we put it out on beta so that you can try it. So you can use your exact account, subdomain.beta.360members.com. You're essentially just adding 1 word in between there, and make sure it's the .beta.360members. Now, though, and Bill, thank you very much. I'm going to jump in here. Whoops, wrong screen. That's my GoToWebinar one. All right. So what I have done is I have added you guys in here, and I've got myself in there as well. I've marked you as potential beta tester. I'm going to go through real quick. Let me sort it by name. Yes, I did have it. And see. All right. So Sue said yes. Joanne said yes. Mary Ann maybe said yes. Aldo Schmidt. Bill. Yes. Sorry, I'm saying the names out loud. I shouldn't do that. Hopefully I'm saying it too softly. Not really good at this whole privacy thing. This is why it's a closed group. All right, and Debbie. Anyone else before I go farther? Just put a note in the chat. And if I don't hear from you, I can always add you later on, right before we get going. All right, I'm gonna say confirmed participation. There we go. Okay, so those of you who have confirmed participation, oops, do a quick refresh. You will be the ones who will receive the text in just a few moments. All right. There we go. So the next thing we're going to do is up under settings, and you can follow along with me. Go to texting down here at the bottom. You'll see that little beta flag on there. The first thing you'll do is click this enable the text messaging opt-in feature. Like I mentioned before, that activates your logon or your form page. Now we don't provide the link to the form because we need you to email it to people. It can't just be out there for anybody to sign up. We don't want people to abuse it. And that's what the texting company said. You need to email this. You need to show that you have some sort of relationship with them to start. So that's why it doesn't just provide the link. Now, sure, you can get the link if you opt yourself in, but please don't abuse it. That's the thing, if people abuse it, we lose our short code for everybody. So that's why we're trying to take all these precautions. Now you can personalize the opt-in email a little bit. We just insert this text. So this is the personalized text that goes in the initial email. And I'm going to hit save there. All right. Next, you send the opt-in email. This is where you can pick a group from your church. It's just using smart groups. So you don't have to go through the whole process that I just went through. You can find anybody using a variety of different ways. But I'm going to go into confirmed participation, select that, and then send up. Well, let's see here. Why did that? Well, that's fun. It should allow you to send. It should be based on email addresses being available. So we can do everyone. You may have to refresh it. That's odd. I don't know why that happened, but I'm going to go ahead and send it. So it's going to tell me the individual email addresses that I have. I'll go ahead and send it. All right. You should be getting an email shortly. I'm going to go ahead and open up my email while we're talking so that I can pull that up. If you do get the email, put a note in the chat and say, got it. That'll help me know that it's on that everything's working just fine. And we'll give it another moment or so while I wait for mine. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. So it takes your logo, puts it in there. This is my fake church's logo. Puts my name in there so that the user who invited people will be listed. So you can't just be anonymous unless your name is anonymous. And it'll say things like, we don't want you to miss out on anything. And it says that it's using Church360. And in order to do this, you have to sign up. So this is where that personalized text goes. And we'll end up having a help article that describes this text for you. All right, good. Several people got it. I am glad. Let's go ahead and sign up. So I'm going to go in here, sign me up. And this is taking me to an opt-in screen. Now remember, this is coming from Church360, so we want to make sure people understand where this is coming from. And all you have to do is type in your cell phone number to start. So I'm gonna put in my cell phone number. And when I click, oh, before I go too far, you'll notice another requirement is we have to put these details. Message and data rates apply, message frequency will vary, see terms of service, privacy policy, all of this. I'm gonna go ahead and click opt in now. And I get this message. We could not locate this cell phone number in your church's database. Please submit your name so that your church knows the cell phone number belongs to you. If the number is already in the database, well, then it'll match it perfectly. But this way, you're not just going to get some random number and not know who it's assigned to. So I'll put in my name, opt in now. Please follow along and do the same. Pretty much everybody who's here will not be in my database. In fact, I can guarantee everyone who's here will not have their cell phone number in my database. All right, so that is gone now, or entered in. I've opted in. Let's go back here. I'm going to refresh. Sue's asking a great question. Is there a format requirement for entering that cell phone number? It should standardize it regardless. So whether you put it in with parentheses or dashes, if it doesn't, if it's giving you issues, let me know. I think we tested that because you see here, it converts it to this, the +1 and the numbers. That's how the database is going to store it. All right, I got 2 people in so far, probably including myself. Let me do a refresh. I think I'm looking for a few more. There's 3. If you haven't done that yet, please go ahead and do it, because I'm going to go ahead and start matching. So you can see here, there's the phone numbers coming across. Now I go in and match it with the people. So this is very similar to our e-giving matching, where you basically see what's been submitted and then you find the person in your database. And so there's Bill S. And there's Sue R. All right, let's do another refresh, see if more people have joined. Good, we've got another, Mary Ann. All right, I'll come back. Oops, why did that not go green? Let's see. Well, we'll refresh it again. I guess that's upon page load. All right, Bill got the text on his phone. Excellent, very good. That's what I'm going to check next. Joanne, it says your phone number does not work. I can't add yours in. Well, I guess I can try real quick and see if it'll let me type it in. Then it should confirm it. Oh, you got it. Okay, very good. All right, now I'll go in here to texting again, match numbers. Now you should also, yeah, up here in the notification, you'll see you have 1 new unmatched phone number or multiple. It'll take you straight to the screen when that happens so that you can start doing that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put in remainders. Thank you very much. And I'll do one last refresh. So now it's matched, but I haven't necessarily opted in on mine. Actually, I had before. So yeah, no, here it is. Text yes, I'm gonna go ahead and text yes. And now I'm opted in as well. So you see, these are those double opt-ins. Now I can receive text messages from my church or from this demonstration. Now, I apologize, I'm going pretty long. We're gonna get into Unite as well, but the process is almost identical. The screens are just different. All right, we're gonna go over to people next. I've matched everybody up. If you go under Smart Groups now, and we start looking at, actually, let's do a quick refresh. I thought we should have an opted in text message list. I'm gonna go to everyone. I'll double check that, but you can go in Yeah. Is it under phone number? All right, well, there's something for me to look at. I might just not understand. I was not the one who did all the testing. But what we can do is we can go back to my confirmed participation. Oh, Bill says, will the opt-in email have our own church's name rather than Christ Community Church? Yes, yes, it will. It'll be your exact church. All right, now I select everybody. Down here, it says send text, and it's in beta. Ernest, you still haven't received the message. Well, that is curious. We'll double check the email address. So you can see here, this will tell me that, yeah, there's no opted in numbers for a few of you, including Ernest. The ones who have opted in are available for texting. So text will be sent to these 5 recipients. It's possible that you signed up for this event with a different email, or maybe there was a typo in the email. We can look at those. If you want to put your email address in the chat, I can go and confirm that when we're done here. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and choose an announcement and say, this is the text from our live training. It'll tell you how many characters you have remaining. Again, you have to pick the type, but it doesn't really change how you enter the message. And now I'm going to go ahead and send. And you should receive that message now. I'm going to go back into matching to make sure. While we wait for the message, Bill says he got it. Excellent. Yep, I just got it here as well. All right, there we go. These are the final 2. And so Nello, your form did come across, or no, Ernest is the one who, it looks like I got Nello in there twice. Interesting. All right, well, we will come back to you, Ernest, and I will double check what's going on during our Q&A. I want to jump into Unite real quick for those of you who are only using Unite. So this is my test site that I'm using. The first thing that you need to do, and actually I probably should have, yeah, I had my list of things to follow up on, but yeah, I did it. So the first thing you're going to do is go up to Settings, go to Texting, and just like in members, you enable the opt-in and put in, this is the personalized message. And I'll save my changes. So now on the back end, that page has been generated. Next, I'm going to go to users. And this has changed a little bit. We now have users, mailing lists, and communication. Well, the first thing we need to do is invite people to receive text. Well, we've already done that for several people. So I'm not going to necessarily go through all of this, but I'll put my name in there. If there's somebody who has not received theirs yet, let me know. I'm going to go to Ernest. And it looks like I got your email address right, so we'll try this again. And I think you were the only one that didn't. So we're going to go ahead here and say invite to receive text messages. So I'm going to go ahead and send it out. And it says 2 people were invited to opt in. Now I'll go back to my email. And we'll wait a second for it to show up. Everything's going slow on my computer because I'm live now. I don't even know where that one went in my inbox. This is what was before. It should be almost identical. Ernest, if you get yours first, let me know. Here we go. So this looks more like a Unite email, but it says the same kind of thing. All right, this is the personalized message. And I'll go in here, and this time it'll look more like this. So I'll put that in again, click opt in, I'll get that text. Now it already knows my email address. In fact, I'm already confirmed. And so let me move my thing. Your number is already opted in. Sorry, I had my webcam view blocking that. So I'm all set now there. Now the next thing I want to do is go and send, well, let's go here first under activity. This is where you can go to texting opt-in, and if you need to match somebody, you can do it. There's Ernest. So Ernest, I will go ahead and put you in. We'll click link. So it's that same kind of experience. Now, when I go back to users and go under communication, this is now where not only can I opt in or send text, this is also where I'm doing emails now. So I'll go in here and there's my different phone numbers. I'll go ahead and send all of you guys that. It crosses accounts. So if you're using members and Unite, your opt-ins apply there. I go down in here and I have now send email, send text. When I click send text, I have the same kind of thing. This is being sent from Church360 Unite. There we go. I'll go ahead and send that text and you all should receive it. So again, very similar process. There's one thing I forgot to show you in members. I should have done this and I didn't, but we'll go back to members. Underneath our roles now. Excellent, everybody's getting it again. Glad to hear that. Underneath roles, we have 3 new permission roles. That's gonna be hard to see. Let's go here under elder. Now we have split out sending emails and sending texts under communication. We've also had managed texting added to collections. So these are now going to be different. Now anybody who previously could send emails will be opted into emails, but you'll need to go and check your permissions. Administrators will have this to start. You'll need to add this for other people so that if maybe you want your pastor to send text, or you are the pastor but you're not the administrator, you'll be able to send text that way. All right, that's the demonstration. I'm 8 minutes over. I apologize. And I should have, if you were following along, you should have been able to figure this out, but I should have clarified that. So to get in here to Unite testing, go to subdomain.beta.360unite. And you can follow that same process that I just did. I'll be sending out the recording later on. So if you weren't able to follow along, you can watch the recording. It'll come out tomorrow morning, but you'll be able to do that. So everybody who has access, well, everybody who sees this can do this. It's turned on for all accounts. You just need to know to go to beta and how to do it. All right, if you need help along the way, our software support team is there. Eventually it'll be in our help center, but support@cts.cph.org is how you reach them via email. 800-346-6120 is how you can call them up. Question answers, type it into the GoToWebinar chat. You guys have been doing a great job already. Remember, a recording will be emailed within 48 hours. And if you are watching this recording, go ahead and send it to support@cts.cph.org, or you can send it here. So the first question is, what happens if somebody tries to reply to the text message? Let me just go ahead and get you that exact wording. It says, you have replied to a one-way text messaging service. Please contact your church by phone or email. Reply stop to unsubscribe from these messages. Text and data rates may apply. So that's what happens. I knew it was an automated message, but I want to get that wording right. And then Bill's saying, will any changes we make in beta be carried over to a real database? Yes, Bill, it is your real database. You just have the beta experience on the front end. But anything you make here will be changed on your database. It's your same exact account. Now, if you switch and log into the non-beta environment, all the text messaging stuff will disappear. Any of the updates to phone numbers and all that will be there, but they're going to be accurate. So just keep that in mind. That's a really good question. When someone opts out of getting text, does their record change to reflect that? Do we see who opts out? Yes, I believe when you go and, in fact, if one of you wants to opt out of my messages right now, you can go ahead and do that and we'll show it on screen. Actually, I can probably opt out. Let me just go ahead and do stop. All right, let's go here. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts here and I don't remember everything off the top of my head. So we will go ahead and refresh. Now it doesn't say that on the screen. If we go here to texting, go to phone numbers, they're now dropped off. I'm now dropped off that list. So if I go in here and we select me and send text, basically just says I'm not opted in. That's what it is. So it's as if I never was opted in. So that helps clarify. I was thinking it was a message, but I was wrong. Again, a lot of moving parts here, so I appreciate your patience with me. Let's see what's next. Does the individual have to opt out from an actual text message? They don't have to opt out from a text message, but they have to opt out via text messaging. Meaning if somebody calls you up and says, I want to opt out, stop texting me, and you say, well, just respond stop. They'll say, well, I don't even have a message anymore, I deleted them. Well, then just tell them to respond to that number, and I can put that back up on the screen. You'll see that. I'm sure you guys will opt in for messages as well, but it's that 69089 number. So they'd have to text them that way. Now, the other way you can do that is you can go and delete their phone number from the screen. So you can go into their profile. I think that's what Susan is saying. You can go in and delete it, but then you've deleted their number. So in some cases that might be right. Like you can go here and just say goodbye, delete the phone number. Well, then you don't have their phone number in your record anymore. So that's one thing to do it. I would recommend that you create a list of people who you are texting for, but that's up to you. And I was thinking, I'm gonna have to double check when that appears because I was thinking there was a default smart group that came in for those who had opted into texting. So that might have been just one of the things we were trying out during testing, but I'll double check that with the team. All right, any other questions? Oh, can you come back if you accidentally opted out? Yes, you can. So if somebody has opted out, you can just go and, I was on the right screen. Go back to texting. And if you want to just invite one person, you can go in here and say, whose first name contains Peter, and then whose last name contains Frank. We'll go send invite. It's only showing one. And I'll go resend it. Now it's going back to me again. I'll get another email. So that's how you can do it. You use this smart group filter to get down to exactly who you need. All right, any other questions before we wrap up for the day? Let me make sure I got them all. We got Ernest working, so there's that. If I missed your question, please go ahead and say, look up above or something like that, but I think we're in good shape. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I'll put this back on the screen. We are gonna go with the beta testing for a week or two. I'd love to hear your feedback as soon as possible. If I don't hear much for a while, we may say it's good to go. But if you see anything that's off or confusing, anything I can explain better, some of this is just testing my training. If you'll say, it would really help if you showed permissions at the beginning, Peter. I'll try to remember to do that next time. but I think we are in good shape. So thank you again for participating in this webinar. Thank you for being willing to help test text messaging. I'd love to hear what you think, so be sure to send us a message either at my email or support or both. Thanks so much. Have a great day.